I'm back in my kitchen, and what happened is I am about to make some dinner before I have to do some coaching, and I said to Roger, I'm gonna make this dish, and you know what, I'm just gonna hit record and I'm gonna share it with my friends on Facebook because this is one of my go-to recipes. It's great for using up leftovers. It's a really nice veggie dish that you can keep veggie, or you can add in any type of protein that you like, including vegetarian protein like beans or lentils or chickpeas, or you can add things like chicken or beef or lamb or whatever you have on hand. It's just become a staple and something that Roger and I love to have all the time. So I'm gonna share it with you. So I basically just got myself ready before I hit live. And so I've chopped up a bunch of veggies. You can use any veggies you have on hand. It does not matter. Use anything that you have on hand. What you might wanna do is keep in mind veggies that are harder, put those in first, and then your softer veggies can go in after. I've also just thrown everything in the pot and hope for the best. There are no mistakes. That's what's really nice about cooking versus baking. I always like the saying that cooking is an art form and baking is a science. So I'm not a huge baker. If you know me, you'll know I don't bake a ton because I find it really restrictive, whereas I can be so fearless when it comes to cooking because as long as you put in good ingredients, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a good result. So just putting in good things are gonna happen. So here's what you need for this recipe: 4 cups of any chopped veggies. I have more than that on hand. I've got more than 2 cups of chopped cauliflower, and I've got more than, well, a little more, not quite more than 2 cups, but about 2 cups of chopped peppers. And then I also have a cup of chopped leeks, and I don't know how much this is. Let's say it's 1.5 cups or 2 cups of chopped mushrooms. So I'm gonna put the mushrooms in last, but again, it doesn't really matter. I've got some butter I'm using in my pot tonight because I found some really nice grass-fed butter that I wanna use up. So I'm gonna use butter, but certainly olive oil works just as well. And you're gonna put it over medium heat. And I'm just gonna start with dumping in those leeks and the cauliflower. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm just dumping it in my pot. Nothing to see here, folks. And then you're gonna dump in the rest. I'm gonna wait to throw in my mushrooms. I don't like them super cooked, super mushy. So I'm gonna put those in a minute or 2. But you can already hear I had already started heating up my pot before I started talking to you. The recipe says that you're gonna use a large frying pan. That works, especially if you're not doing as much as I am. I'm just basically using up a bunch of veggies that I have on hand. And that's why I've got so many. But when I wrote this is why I am a terrible cookbook author, by the way, because I have a really hard time staying within the lines. So I wrote this saying 4 cups, I guess, is about how much I use. But as you can see, I use more than that, and it doesn't matter. And you can just get super creative with yourself. So have fun in the kitchen. While that's starting to work its way into being cooked, you're just allowing it to go. Again, I've shared this before when I make dressings. I love using a mug because I can really keep control of the whisking and I just keep it all together. It's not splattering everywhere. I just really love using a mug. So in my mug, I juiced almost an entire lemon because I am kind of doubling this recipe. If you want this recipe, PM me, let me know your email address. I'll email you the recipe. Or mention it in the comments below that you want it. And if you're public about your email address, post it in the comments below. But I'll send it to you. So what I've done is in this mug, I've juiced a lemon. The recipe calls for half a lemon. And I also decided to throw in some fresh lime juice as well. We have a whole bunch of limes. And I was making virgin mojitos over the Christmas holidays. So I had some extra mint for my mojitos, which is again why I love this recipe, because it calls for mint. And it was probably just created by me when I had mint lying around and thought, I'm gonna throw that in my veggie dish, and I ended up falling in love with it. So I had my mint, and that's why I said to Roger, he's gone to the grocery store because we don't have any chicken, which is what we wanna have in our dish tonight, so he's just gone to buy that. But you can use leftover meat. This is a really great leftover meal to use up any veggies that are going or that are starting to go that you're like, oh, I have to use those quickly, and you've got a whole bunch of veggies. Make this dish. It's delicious. Even the kids will love it. It's super tasty and scrumpy. It's just a word I like to use when it's just like, that's just really delicious. And it's veggies and it's amazing. So it's awesome. So my veggies are starting to sweat down and get a little bit tender, so that's perfect. In my mug, I've got a couple of tablespoons of olive oil mixed in with my freshly squeezed lemon, lime juice, whatever you've got. I'd rather you not use the stuff in the bottle. It's called real lemon, like REALEMON, or real lime. It's not real. We should really notice when things are saying real lemon on a plastic bottle. It's not real lemon juice anymore. So I'd rather you use the real thing. In every case possible, when you can buy the real whole food, that's where you don't need to read the ingredients on the bottle or the package. You just know that it's a perfect whole food that's been created by Mother Earth, that our bodies know exactly what to do with, and it has so many amazing health benefits for us. That's what we want to be eating, as many whole foods as possible. So I've also done a couple of cloves of garlic, and that's what really makes everything delicious. I hope you love garlic. If you don't, that's okay. You can omit it, or if you don't want to smell like garlic, fair enough. But man, oh man, garlic just makes everything delicious. So I'm letting this kind of sweat down a little bit more. This is my favorite garlic press. If you don't have one of these, you buy them at IKEA. They're about $6 or $7, super cheap, super great gift for yourself or for someone else, and it's the best garlic press I've ever tried. So I press 2 cloves of garlic into, can you see? Can you see that? I hope so. Maybe I didn't turn it on. Anyway, here's my mug with my lemon, lime juice. It's got my olive oil. I put some salt and pepper in there and my garlic. And so I'm just gonna whisk that up together. I'm now gonna go ahead and dump in my mushrooms. The other ingredient that you're gonna need, if you like olives, the Kalamata olive just has such great flavor and adds a bit of nice saltiness. And they're a whole food. I love olives. And they just really make this dish into a beautiful Mediterranean dish that works really nicely on its own over quinoa. Again, you could keep it vegan or vegetarian and put a can of chickpeas or black beans or kidney beans or whatever you like, and you can just definitely eat it that way. Or like Roger and I are gonna do for dinner, we're gonna be adding in some chicken. Now, again, if I had leftover chicken, that would have been perfect, but I didn't. And he was going out anyway to grab a couple of things, so it just worked out perfectly. He's gonna go and grab that. We'll cook that chicken on the barbecue when he gets home or in the oven. I haven't decided yet. And then, because it's only 4:12 here, so I'm still pretty early, but I know it's 7:12 in the East. And so I wanted to make this for you so that maybe you could even make it for tonight's dinner if it might not be too late yet. Or maybe you could think about picking up some of these ingredients for tomorrow. So then the other ingredients, like I said, so we've got Kalamata olives. I'm hoping that you can see, I never know what you can see. I've got 8 in the recipe. I should have added more. I have some more in the fridge, so I'll probably add a few more later because I did kind of double this recipe. But I wasn't thinking that when I was doing this. So I've got 7 sitting here already pitted. And I really want you to know, if you are buying them with the pits in, you have to count your pits on your cutting board to make sure you've removed all of them. You do not want to get a pit in your dish and have somebody break a tooth. It's easy to do because the pits are the same color. Can you see that? The pits are the same color as the olive, especially with Kalamata. So definitely you want to set this aside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pits. And then I've got 1 more to do now. And I just wanted to show you my method of doing it. Maybe you have a better way. And I know there are a lot of contraptions you can buy where you can buy like olive pitters. I'm somebody who's very minimalist in my kitchen. I don't like a ton of different gadgets that can do, like when I can use one blender instead of having a frother and even a food processor. Mine's tucked away. Like I just don't tend to use a ton of different pieces of equipment. Sometimes they're great, but I just don't have enough space, and I don't want to have invested in a ton of different pieces of equipment when I have other things that can do the job just as well. Some people are big gadget people, and that's cool. That's just not me. So I'm stirring this around. My cauliflower, I don't like it to be mushy. So I want you to just let it go until whenever you're feeling good about it. I'm not quite feeling good about it yet, so I'm gonna let it go for another minute before we add in this delicious lemony, garlicky sauce that we're gonna put on here. So So the way that we're gonna do, I'm hoping you can see, I'm taking my olive and literally I'm taking the back of my knife, can you see that? And I'm gonna give it a good smash. Like, I'm not being shy. And what you're left with, you can see, super easy. Can you see that? Easy peasy to take the pit out. So I'm gonna set that aside. Now I've got my 8 pits. You can throw those away right now before you even start chopping, so that there's no risk that you are gonna have a pit in your dish. I'm gonna give my veggies another quick stir. They're looking really good. Everything's kind of softening up. Definitely my peppers are ready. My leeks are ready. You could also use onions for sure. I just had leeks handy. And my mushrooms are kind of getting perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stir in. You're gonna start to hear it sizzle, I think. So this is that sauce that we made. I'm just gonna pour it in. If I had a spatula handy, which I do, actually I don't need it, but I love spatulas for getting every little bit. You always want to use a spatula. They are the best tool. That just gave me an extra tablespoon. When we don't use a spatula, we don't get all of our yummy goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give my veggies a stir now that they've got their sauce on them, and I want that sauce to kind of be allowed to just marinate with the veggies and then almost reduce by about half. So we're gonna just let that go a bit longer. And then what I've got over here is, I'm gonna lift this up to show you. Again, I had that leftover mint. I think my recipe, what do I say? A quarter of a cup. That's about a quarter of a cup. But again, I've doubled my recipe. So if I'd had more, I would be putting more in. If I had less, I'd be putting less in. Cooking's like that. You can do whatever works for you. So I've got this much mint. I've got this much parsley. So what do I say on here? A half a cup of parsley. So I do have a little over a half a cup. So I'm getting closer on the parsley. And then for the, I have oregano on here, a quarter of a teaspoon. So I've put half a teaspoon. So once we have our sauce kind of going down a little, and I don't think you can even see what's happening. So let me lift this up. So here's what my pot looks like. Again, if you're doing it in a large frying pan, that works, especially if you don't have as much as I do. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and dump in my fresh herbs. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. There is nothing like fresh, but if you can't get fresh or you don't have any fresh, that's totally fine. So you can use dried. And I think I give you some conversions. I give you conversions for parsley, but not for the mint. You can buy dried mint. I don't know. Put a couple of tablespoons of dried mint if that's all you've got, if you don't have any fresh. So I'm just chopping up my olives. Anytime you're chopping, hold your fingers like this. You probably can't see me. But hold your fingers curled. If you curl your fingers, you can't cut them. That's the trick to cutting. Curl the fingers. Okay, so now we've added in our parsley, our fresh flat leaf parsley, our fresh mint, and now I'm gonna go ahead and put in the dried oregano. I'm gonna give it another good stir. I don't even have a plate ready for you guys. Seriously, I just decided to do this right before I decided to go live. Another really nice addition is to add, if you're not vegan or vegetarian and somebody who doesn't eat, or someone that doesn't have dairy, goat cheese makes for a really nice creamy dish. I don't have any goat cheese, so I'm not using any tonight, but it really adds, and it just, if you like the flavor of goat cheese and olives are like a match made in heaven. So, I don't know, will I plate it for you? I guess. I don't really have anything really pretty to show you on this plate. Maybe I'll put it in a bowl. Maybe you'll like the way it looks in a bowl. If I had had meat, that was already, like if I had leftovers, if I had leftover meat, that would have been right before I started to dish it out. That's when I would have popped in the cooked meat, and then I would have just mixed it around, allowed it to warm through, and then that would have been that. Definitely you'll want to taste it to make sure that it's seasoned the way that you like. Extra salt and pepper on there if you need it, but otherwise, that's it. My super tasty, easy, decadent, delicious, fast. How fast was that? Super fast. delicious leftover meal. If you've got leftover meat and lots of veggies you want to use up, this is a staple in my kitchen. I make this dish probably at least once a week or once every other week. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. I love cooking for you in my kitchen. Let me know if you're enjoying these, and if you have any questions, let me know, and I will go ahead and see if there was anything that I could answer. Hi Sandra, hi David, hi Brad, hi Jillian, Joanne, nice to see you. Hi Burley. Mwah, thank you for our calendar. Helen, nice to see you. Hi Nikki. Hi Nick. Is that two different Nickies? No, one Nikki. Hi Faye, nice to see you, and thank you. Happy New Year to you as well, Nikki. Jillian, no rules, baby. Exactly, there are no rules in the kitchen. Hi Jen, so happy to see you here, and thank you for that awesome download. I'm gonna share that. Jen sent something to me today that was cool. Hi Christina, hi Liza, or Lisa, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. What's the dish called? Nikki, I think what I call it is easy, decadent, leftover meal, and it's in the revised version of my 28-day Kick the Sugar challenge. I'm also happy to email you the recipe, so if you want it, send me your email address. You can private message it to me. Christine, nice to see you. Okay, Jen, I'll send you the recipe. Hi, Anna. So hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I really hope that 2020 is a year where you just honor your body, eat as many real whole foods as possible, make easy dishes so that you can honestly say to yourself coming home. Roger and I were just out with some friends, and he was like, I'm kind of hungry. And I'm like, me too. And you know what? I have all the ingredients I need to make that yummy veggie dish. Why don't you let me get started with that? You can pick up some chicken and we'll have dinner faster than we could go to a restaurant or a drive-through. So it's all about making those choices and doing what our bodies really want us to do. I love you. Happy New Year. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.